What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Connie G Show. My name is Conrad, and how are you, buddy? It's been a while since I've been out here in the shed. It's embarrassing how long it took me to figure out how to hook all this stuff back up again. That's an embarrassing thing to admit to you. That's why I got this little sweat stain right here, because it's kind of hot in the shed. And the problem is that at the taco shop, by the way, today is... Let me do the show. Let me start the show. I'll do the show like you guys like it in the sense of I'll keep a format. So I'll tell you the day. What day is it that I'm recording this? Let's see. I took some notes here in my book. So today is March 23rd, 2023, the year of our Lord. And I'm Conrad, and I'm in a shed in Prague, Oklahoma. All this artwork behind me, my family and I did. Some of them I did. I did this one. It's like a galaxy. I did this one. That was just a fun one at Christmas. That was a truck that got stolen from me. This is a duck. And then other things. That's kind of a crazy night. This is right here. You gotta watch the video. I'm pointing at them. That one's like a kind of more Native American feel to it. As well as this one back here. That's my OU license plate. And then that's a car I painted in high school. My daughter did this one and this dinosaur egg one. So anyways, that's where I'm at. I'm in the shed on my property. It's not much, it's small. Somebody was one time asking me like how many square foot I have. And the cool thing is when you can count them on your hands and toes, you got the perfect amount of square foot. Because you got the foot, you got your squares for your feet, you got squares for your hands. You know what I'm saying? So, not much was my answer, though, because they didn't get that. Not much square footage, but we keep it close, and that works out for us pretty good. So, yeah, happy March, everybody. Spring's coming. That's good, because I'm tired of, I do a lot of running. I'm tired of running in the cold. I'll do it, but I'm getting pretty. I don't even know if I'm tired of it. I might miss it, so I might be looking forward to winter pretty soon. I don't know. But, sorry about for the past few weeks. I just haven't been able to get over here to the shed and do this. And I actually have a confession to make to you. I did do one show that I stopped doing, and I never posted it. And I don't even remember what I said. And I don't remember what I said on a lot of shows, but I'm sure glad you're here listening. So, thank you. So anyways, it's been a wild few weeks since I last spoke to you. As far as this goes, if you don't know how involved this show is with OK Taco Company, thank you, because you just found me randomly. But if you do know, then this will all make sense to you. This show's always been free, the Connie G Show. I think I added it as a part of Con Radio's Patreon or something, just trying to legitimize it, really, because as you guys know, I don't want the money. It's not that. I want the ear holes. I want you to open your ear holes and hear what I'm saying, not see me. But I do it on video for those of you who learn by sight. So if you want to see my stuff, you can watch it, but you don't have to. I'd rather you close your eyes and, if it was me, I'd close my eyes and get to work and listen to me. I've been doing that my whole life. So anyways, yeah, it's been a few weeks. So it's been, and anyways, I'm out here in the shed now. That's the thing. I'm back in a lot of ways. That's the cool thing. I had to confront a lot of demons over the past few weeks, and cross a lot of bridges that sometimes people bury those bridges inside them, and they just move on. You know what I mean? And that's fine. You can do that. You can do that and live a perfectly normal life, knowing that there was a injustice or something at some point that is wrong. And, are you fine? Are you alive? I don't know. But if you are, then whatever it was that you went through with that person, it doesn't affect the fact that you're still there in whatever position you're at the end, when you're thinking about, should I call this person, or should I confront this person, or should I tell this person everything? And, that's usually saved for people that you want to build something with, So it's been a very long week. It's been a very long few weeks. It's been a very long month, couple months of, doing that. So I feel exhausted. So even though I haven't got to speak to you, I feel like I've spoke more in the past month than I've spoke in the past decade. Because the thing is, if you have been listening, if you have been following along, if you have been watching, I have been saying a lot of stuff throughout the years on these shows. A lot of these things are my ideas and things that I'm thinking about, and they're funny and goofy because that's who I am naturally. But, there's been a lot of intense moments, a lot of serious moments, and a lot of things that I'm telling people. If it's just in the room and the two people listening, I'm telling them what I'm doing, and that's the only time I talk. And I don't know if people understand that that's true. That's what I was doing. Because a long time ago, there was a moment when my world had to click for a lot of different reasons. And a lot of people have these moments. But my world had to click. It got changed. There was a fork in the road, or which is a great thing if you're needing a fork. There's one. It's right there. It's in the middle of the road. But there's a fork in the road that I went through about 10 years ago, or maybe even a little bit longer now. And I made some promises that I didn't even really necessarily remember that I made. But my body remembered, my mind remembered, my heart remembered. And they got kicked right back in my face. Basically on the beginning of March. They got kicked in my face. Those things that I promised people. And the kicking was not that I had failed them somehow. The kicking was, dog, turn around. You had your head down and you were listening, but you haven't looked at anybody or anything. You put your hood over your head and you haven't watched anything. Ever. You worked. Everybody says that. That's fine. And a lot of people do a lot of things that are way harder. Hell, I get it. That's the part that would keep me working, is that there's a lot of people going through a lot worse stuff than I'm going through right now. And, that's why I'd come in and do my silly shows and talk to you about the differences between Parmesan cheese and goat cheese and how are they even in the same family, you might wonder. It's this delicious pizza topping treat that's in a tiny little aluminum package, and then this disgusting goat cheese that tastes bitter and stinky. So, but they're both cheeses. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying is I would come to you guys a lot of times and I'd have funny thoughts like that. And you might think, this guy's got it whipped. And in my mind, I'm thinking, what am I whipping? I don't know where I'm going. I don't know how to do it. I don't know what I'm seeing. And so I just realized, and people had told me, it didn't really matter because I had to do it a certain way. I had to do it my way because I was building something for these promises that I had made. And I didn't even remember necessarily making them. And then a few weeks ago, the big spaceship in the sky grabbed me by the back of the neck and shoved those problems into my brain and said, remember when you made this promise? Remember when you made this promise? Guess what, buddy? You put your head down and you done did it. You can help now. You can fix it now. You know the knowledge now. You can help them. And so I've spent, and it comes at a cost, though. That's the thing. It comes at a cost. You're going to be tired. You're going to do a lot of driving. You're going to call a lot of people you haven't called. You're going to admit a lot of things you haven't admit. You're going to have to confront some people that are pretty close to you, the closest, and tell them what bothered you over those years when you were pushing. Because they were behind you, ready to catch you when you fell, but you didn't want to give up. And so you didn't even tell them what you were going through necessarily. So anyways, that's kind of the breakthrough thing. And there's a lot to it. So much so that it would make you real crazy or think I'm crazy listening to it. But it's been so great because I know how to speak now. I know what I'm saying. So, when you're at a party and, hey, remember, hey, fella, get out of that gutter. Tell me about the last time you were at a party. You know what I'm saying? I'm getting when you're in an environment where family functions or Christmas times or holiday functions, whatever, and you're at a socializing event, right? And some buster will come up to you and he'll just start talking like, you know what I'm getting into, and it doesn't really matter because you don't know, and this guy just wants to tell you, and you get to play the part of, I'm going to see if there's a connection here. And the next thing out of his mouth is like, dude, I've just been getting into hermit crabs lately. And you're like, all right, I don't know much about them. I I got jock itch, which is kind of like having crabs, I heard. Like you try to find a connection with this fella that it doesn't have to be hermit crabs, of course. And I'm just talking about if you're like at a Dylan's Christmas party or Kroger food store Christmas party is what I'm saying. I mean, if you're at a bank, one, thank you for all you do. And two, can I just say this? Like, you're at a bank and you're all dressed up and everybody's like, ooh, we're going to bring the punch, but I hope Megan doesn't spike it. Wink, wink, And you're sitting around in the lobby because the bank closes at 5, but the drive-thru is open till 6. So for all those people that want to come and see you that get off work at 5, too bad, look through the glass tube. And you can knock on the door all you want. And sure, we are working, and it is a bank, and there's no cleanup involved because it's a bank. But we want to make sure that we get our hour. And so you look through the glass, and it's like, oh, they're drunk, and they're, pull around, we're closed. I mean, we're not, but, no door. And they're drinking, and they're telling each other stuff. And bank people get weird, man. They get drunk and get weird. That's what bank people do, because you got a person that's working with numbers, and they're not theirs. It's everybody else's number. And so people come in and deposit checks and take out money and do all this stuff all the time. And sometimes older people come in and get their safety deposit box keys and stuff. And bank people, because they work the job, start thinking like, well, I know Catherine pretty good, and she's always talking about her weird toe. How does she have so much money? And so they're always scheming. And so when they get drunk at their Christmas party, they're not talking about hermit crabs. They're talking about, I got a friend of mine that he's thinking about getting a cabin up in Colorado. It's not a timeshare. Hold on. It's a new thing. It's not Airbnb, dude. It's a new thing. What he's doing, dude. And they just lay this in, and you're sitting there and you're like, I'm a janitor. My wife works here, Carl. I don't work here. I clean COVID masks and tampons. I clean COVID tampons out of toilets. Woman, are you seriously going to leave this COVID tampon stuck in this toilet? It's a pandemic. It's a pandemic in here. So, you say that. It's Carl, I'm a janitor. He's like, no, I know your wife works here and stuff, but she must tell you stuff about me. And I'm like, she might, dude. But I'm usually worried about getting that tampon out of that toilet quite a bit. So when she's talking, I'm like, uh-huh. And then I say, I hope you have a great day, babe. And then hang up, and then I get back to it. So, luckily, though, I have done a show this entire time. And even though I would avoid social interaction with small talk and random strangers, I would do my best to avoid it. And I did a really good job, bang-up job. I was able to share what I was feeling, even if it was just an escape from what I was going through, on a show every week. A lot of people don't get to do that, and a lot of people wouldn't, because they would say, well, why do you do that? What is that commitment? It's like, I do it because it's all I've ever said I wanted to do since the last time I said something. You know what I mean? I had a life that was real, and I was really good at it, and I worked real hard for it, and I earned it in a lot of ways, and I hadn't got rewarded, technically. Now, people on the outside say you're rewarded, and I was, in comparison to most. I totally get it. In comparison to most. But the difference between me and others is I took responsibility for it. I took ownership of it. I cared as much as the person who created it, but I was the person that created it with that person. And a lot of the big decisions that company had to make involved a certain amount of commitment and basically labor that was going to have to go unpaid. And I was willing to do that for that person, for that vision, for that dream, whatever, to let them chase it. And I did it without pay on a lot of stuff. And that's okay. And I'm still okay with that because it created me. But it created a monster in a way. But it created me. And I learned a lot. But when that got pulled out, when that vision got crushed because of divorce, because I come from a broken home, I didn't have a place to teach. You know what I mean? I had a place when I had that. And people could say my dad built it, and that's fine. And I would smile and walk off as my dad was at the lake and my mom was spending money and I was the only one working. And they'd tell me that somebody else built it when I was the 5-year-old that was there, when I was the 9-year-old that was there, when I was the 13-year-old that was there, when I was the 14, when I was running the crew at 15, 14, 13, when I broke my leg and still came in the next day, when all my friends who helped me wouldn't help me because it was the day after a football game and I had to mow it all by myself, I did. And I couldn't get mad at my friends because they're just kids. Of course, they need the day off. They just played football last night. So did I. I tried pretty hard at that too. I cared a lot. But the point is, of all that, is it got ripped. Not just for me, it got ripped. My whole family did. And that happens. And it happens at different stages for different people. And 50% of people go for this crap. You know what I'm saying? But the difference is I was an adult. And I had built something with my father. With an agreement between my father and I. That the reason I have to suffer so much by doing this is because someday it's all mine. And that was all on paper. And that was all an agreement. It was a contract. We had it. And so I didn't worry about money, but everybody around me did. They'd say, you got to get paid more. You do a lot. I mean, how many hours you work? And I'd be, all of them, every moment, everything that requires to get the job done, and not just done perfect. I work all those hours. How much you get paid for? Whatever my dad says he can afford. And so I'd be the guy giving the checks to people that worked less than me and got paid more than me. I was all of that. I was the guy writing them. And then it got pulled from me. Out of my control. And I tried to stick around for a few years. And try to be in the middle. So I had to take the arrows from two sides of just hatred towards each other. For different reasons. And I had to take those and be in between it. And try to build a bridge. And to run the company, as they both drained the resources of the company in order to fight each other over whatever, which is basically this. We don't like each other right now. And we haven't liked each other maybe for a while now. We can't communicate. And I don't know if this is the way I want to live my life moving forward. That's what it is. But to want to get something to think it gives you like some sort of upper hand in your second life, that's where people get stuck. You don't get no upper hand. You got the knowledge of how to do it. That's what you earn. But the money doesn't matter, dog. As long as you got the knowledge. And so at one point I had to leave that situation. And it hurt me. It crushed me because I was leaving what I built. Because it was getting destroyed and burned. But I left it with a promise to my dad. And I couldn't promise it to my mom even though I gave her the same opportunity. Because she didn't want my promise. Because she didn't want what I built. She hated what I built. She told me so. And then she said I didn't build it. And so I still smiled. I still did my show. I asked everybody to listen. I asked everybody to share. I did the best I could. I did really well on a lot of times to make people giggle. I'm kind of a little giggle factory when I want to be. But it didn't change that this was still going on. And I waited, and I waited, and I built, and I built, and I came back, and I helped the one person who knew that it got stolen from me, and that's my dad. And I made a promise to him, and he made a promise to me on a certain day. And it hurt because a lot of his behavior going through what he's going through and the way he was processing it affects everyone, because my dad is he's the creator of us as far as the family and building. You know what I mean? He's like that. He creates a little world, a cocoon of friendship and trust and agreement, and he's done it my entire life. And to me, he's the best at it, and he's definitely, without a doubt, no matter what, this is how it goes in my world. This is my view, and you ain't going to change it. He's steadfast on his values and his purpose. And a lot of it's real good. But if you cross it, it ain't good for you. But he'll tell you that up front. And he'll give you all the rope you want to wrap your whole head in and choke yourself to death with. And he'll let you do that. And he'll cry every night about it. And he'll tell me I was who he called when that was happening. And it sucked because I couldn't say anything because I hadn't built anything. And what I did build, my mom hated, and she took from me and never paid me. So I've been dealing with this stuff and talking a lot to a lot of people because I got to a point finally, because of the help from my wife, who had to go through basically a robot version of me, and the only time I was being real was when I was doing a show. So sometimes once, twice a week she'd get to see me. Just like a lot of you guys that are family that are watching, that have chosen to watch. My mom hasn't watched. Ever. And she hasn't listened. It just takes one or the other. So I had to confront her, and I did. It took everything, because she's a very powerful person, and I'm real proud of her. And I got a lot of what I am from her. And good and bad. But I try to outwork those bad things that I got from her. So when I get those kinds of feelings and thoughts, the thoughts of greed and hunger and cutting corners, I go out there and I found a way that I can beat those demons out, because that ain't real. And I got to just get closer to the person that I had always been with, that we built something together. You know what I mean? That's what happened. But he was there the whole time for everyone, anytime they needed it. But they knew that his help comes with a cost, and people don't like that. You know what I mean? People don't like that. They want to just come take, because that's my dad. Of course, just give it to me because you owe it to me. He didn't owe you anything. He gave you life. He gave you an opportunity to help him. He'll pay you when you help. But he doesn't owe you anything. He's given you a house. He gives you food. But if you're going to stay in his house, you keep it clean. This is rules, guys. This is basic rules. And a lot of my family sometimes didn't understand that, because my mom's the other way. Because she's a trickster. So she'll give you the money because you say, I just didn't feel like going to work today, because that's what my mom does. But she took that money from me. That's the part you're not getting. She took that money from my dad. She won't spend her own money that she's earned. She's taking it now, and she's been taking it, and it's killing my dad. And so I had to, over the past few weeks, confront that kind of evil and hope that it wasn't true, and hope that it wasn't real. Pray that it wasn't. And it was. And it is. And I literally got kicked in the face by something. And then I had the courage to do it. And then I did it. And I talked to her. And I for a long time. I yelled for a long time, and she yelled right back and got in my face and angry, like I didn't see what she'd been through. And I do. I get it. And I don't blame her. But I do blame her for what's happening now, because I need a number. My dad needs a number. That bank needs a number so they can close the doors. What's your number, Sandra? I got $13,000 in there. What you going to do with it? I'm going to go to Cabo. Everybody needs their number. My mom hasn't been given a number. She keeps dragging my dad. And it doesn't matter. That's the part that he doesn't get. All he wants to do, like always, is make her happy. That's what this whole thing's dragged off. She will not allow that. So this will go on indefinitely. Because she's not going to, and he won't do it for the wrong reasons because he's got principles. He doesn't owe her anything at this point. He gave my mother the house that he built. He gave it all. He gave my mother the company that he and I built. He gave it all. My mother gave my dad 10 hours to get everything out of that house. That's what the court order said that she was involved in. To get everything that he'd worked for 40 years out of that house in 10 hours. He walked in, grabbed one bag, and turned around and walked out. And didn't come back, and all his stuff's there. His retirement that he worked for, that he went and served this country for, that he left his family for, the only thing he cares about is hers. He wanted shared custody so bad because he wanted to have some control over the only thing he cared about, that he fought, and my mom thinks he was fighting about it because of the money, because that's why she was fighting. She keeps yelling at me, I don't want to give up my kids. My dad never asked that. He wanted shared, and they go where they feel comfortable. Shared. And they're always welcome with me. I'm their dad. I love them. All I want is them. I want you too, babe, but you don't want me anymore. So I want them. And she said, but if I give them those kids, I don't get the money from you. Bitch, that ain't your money. That's our money. Sorry about that. So he paid it. On top of everything I said. And then when that woman sold the equipment that he bought for his business, that him and I built, he rebought it. He had to do it all over again with nothing except from the faith that bankers who knew him, that employers who knew him, his bosses who knew his company, because it's a big deal when kind of like a big company, kind of like been doing it for a real long time the right way, all of a sudden has this change. Are these big corporations that he takes care of going to stick with him when he has to change his name? He doesn't know. That's all he's ever done. It's what he built. He has to redo it without the shop that I built, without the stuff that I created with him. Because I was gone by then. And I could have been gone, but I would come back and I'd help him. I said that to him. That was a promise. And I do. I still do every month. If not more, I drive back for free because he's my dad. I said I would. But when I got taken to court and accused of doing something nefarious by starting my own company, and I got subpoenaed by my mom to come in there to defend myself and my actions on advice from her creepy lawyer. But she didn't stop him. Didn't say, don't you ever tell Conrad what to do, because he's doing it for the right ways. He wouldn't do that to me. She didn't do that. She said, I want to hear too, because she didn't ever ask me. And when she did, I told her what I felt, and she didn't like that answer. Because usually it's got something to do with earning and being right. Is it the right thing? Are you trying to make these people laugh? Do they laugh at this kind of joke? Then tell more of those jokes. Does it make you uncomfortable? Maybe. But you're in a room where people are laughing at that, so you tell them that way. Would I tell that joke to my son? No, not then. I had to grow through all that. But I got to a point, and my son grew up, where I can be myself around my son, and myself has changed because I control who's around me. So I don't want the people that want the dirty jokes around me. But if they are around me and they want me to do a comedy show, I say the dirtiest joke in the world. I don't like that, though. It's not my favorite kind. So I guess what I'm saying is I've kind of stuck to something for a real long time. And I saved a lot of money, and I sacrificed a lot of what people, if they had known what I was doing, if they had known how hard it was, if they had known how hard I was working. And I asked for help, and people do know because they know who I am. They say, if that guy goes to work, he shuts down and he works. That's all true. But I got here, and now I can turn around, and I got kind of an axe to grind now because this other part that I left is still going on. It doesn't have to be, and it ain't gonna be. And I got a lot of answers because I was in the hole for a real long time. It taught me things that I can now use. And if it doesn't work at all, I saved it. So just tell me the number, is what I've told my mom, and I'll pay it. And I'm going to. And I got the money. I don't want to spend it on that. And it'll break my heart if she cashes it or takes the cash, depending on what form of this ridiculousness I'm giving her. But I'm going to give her that number. And what I do after that totally depends on how she takes that number and what she does with that number. And I have a pretty horrible assumption that I know what's going to happen. And that's the part that sucks, because that means I don't got a mom anymore as far as I can talk to, because she doesn't have the values I have at all. That will be awful. And she, unfortunately, runs on a platform, literally, go vote, figuratively, spiritually, that she does not follow. So it's all false. And I don't know how to fix it. I tried. And I know that I don't want to do the things I have to do, but it's right because my family needs me. I gotta be there for them. So, and I wasn't. I mean, I was there on the days, and I was there on the holidays and the special events and the weirdo stuff, that everybody's awkward and be like, what do you got going on? No, I'm thinking about doing this. I'm thinking about doing that. And they'd say, what do you got going on, Conrad? I'd be like, I'm trying to be the best, I do the show. And I'm trying to figure out a way to do the show. They'd be like, oh, yeah. And I put my head down, and it's like, yeah, but I also have to do this, because I don't make any money doing the show. I don't make any money selling tacos. I'm going to a different town in weird parts of Oklahoma. I'm not, well, how are you living? By not needing anything. The place I work cooks food. I eat it. Well, what else do you eat? That's all I eat. I'll change it. There's 3 ingredients. I have them in a different order. I don't need shoes. This guy's got shoes. Can I have your shoes, sir? Yeah? Okay, thank you. I'll take those. I'm fine now. I don't need jeans. These jeans got stains on them, but luckily I do something pretty dirty. I'm going to get them stained. I don't need a new shirt. This is Gary Allen's shirt. I like Gary Allen. I'll wear it. Who cares? Until it gets see-through. I've got a lot of shirts that just fell off. I didn't need anything, even though I had the money to buy those things. I didn't spend the money to buy those things. I saved it and saved it and saved it and saved it. And I spent it when I needed it to help me keep moving forward on important things. But then I saved and I saved and I saved and I saved and I saved. And I know my kid wants to go to Legoland. And I haven't got to take him yet. Key word there is yet. But I got to do these things coming up. And I just want you to know that that's why I was gone. Because I found out what I have to do and how to do it. And then there's another fork in the road. This time it's a spoon. Grab your lamb stew. Because I don't know I don't know yet. I know what I'm in the process of doing. I'm setting up some things. And I can't wait. I really can't wait for it to all be over, because that's what I'm setting up. Is, we got a new home now, and it's just home base, and you can't make a fortune down here. But good news, it wasn't built to make a fortune. It was built to make you happy. It was built to make everybody happy. It was built because of this show. It was built because of the OK Taco Show. It was built because of those guys from Wichita. It was built because of Passenger Seat with Darby McDurbin. It was built because of Frank Franklin. It was built because of the Connie G Show. It was built because of the Conrad and Jack Show. It was built because of those guys from Wichita. It was built because of Con Radio. It was built with all the efforts that all I've tried to do is to share my words. In a funny way with friends. For people to enjoy and be like, that guy's, he just loves going in there and talking to those guys about whatever he thinks is goofy. Or that guy just loves talking about Drew Barrymore. Or that guy likes telling stories about his day. And funny, weird things that he goes across. And weird thoughts that he has about Second Life and water sticks and Emerald Air and all the stupid crap that comes out of this dumb head and human chairs and the weird stuff. And it was an escape for me to do that, but it was also, I'm doing a show. It's fun. It's funny if you listen. A lot of people didn't. A lot of people didn't watch. Still don't. But that's why OK Taco was built. And so if it worked, that was the big question. It doesn't matter that most people, the majority of people, walk in and ignore all the signs of this is different. They walk in, they get their turd, pre-turd, they eat it, make post-turd. That's life. And I'm okay with it. That supports this tiny little spaceship that's in Davenport, Oklahoma, that Shannon and I built together. And as long as that spaceship can have those, as my brother would say, those NPCs, those non-playable characters walk in, that's about as simple a life as you could imagine. And all it affords you is a foundation of a safety net. That's all it is. It's not going to make you rich, buddy. If you're coming down here to get rich, keep on going. Keep moving further, because it ain't here. This is not the rich area. That's that way or whatever. I can point you in the rich area. There's a bank over there. They act rich. They don't. It's your money in there that they're using to get rich, but they don't want you to know that. By the way, they're your customer. For all you guys out there banking, when you choose to put your money in there, and they try to tell you that you're choosing them because they're doing something, that's their job, to do something for you. That's your money. Okay? So when the bank screws up something, it's your right to call them and say, you messed this up, buddy. Fix it. That's my money, or I'll find a different bank, and you're going to help me find it because you suck. So I can point to the rich. And if you want that, the world needs it because the world needs money. We just hope some of those rich people are good. But not at OK Taco. There's no such thing as a rich person. Rich in what matters, yes. So we got a Damien. Ooh, do we got a Damien out there getting it done. Baby. Damien's definitely a biblical term for the devil. Which couldn't be further from the truth. He's definitely not. I think he's been through hell and is going through it. But he's hilarious. And we've had some freaking amazing days that I haven't got to share with you guys. Just amazing. Done some crazy, wild, wacky stuff according to what normal humans do. If that makes sense. Just taking some time to listen to a fella about what's going on with his raccoon is what I do. And I got some other gentlemen that come in there, and Shannon and I have connected with a lot of these folks. We got a buddy named Lawrence, and a buddy named, of course, Patrick has come in a couple times, but not been in recently. We got a buddy named Ryan, who's getting closer and closer to us, trusting us a little bit more that this is what we do. It's not about the food. It's about the people. It's about the right way. It's about proving that I don't got to follow your guys' system because your system's made to make money. And I get that there's places that do what I do in the sense of churches and clubs and Mason clubs. They've been around a long time. I don't like it. I don't like them. I don't agree. I can't do it there because it doesn't align with my values, because that church is still taking your money, because that church is sending people all over the world to help. Gosh, those people need help. I get it. But the people in your own town need it more because they're in your own town. So driving up in your Denali and talking about your mission to Uganda to feed friggin', sandpaper lollipops to these children in Uganda, and coming back and using it as some sort of social club thing to talk about. To me, it is helping those Ugandans, and they don't care as long as they're getting that peanut butter on that shipment. And they'll listen to the white man for as long as, they can handle it, and then eventually they're going to dip their hand in that peanut butter, shut their brain down, and be like, I wish this white face would stop talking to me, and I'm thankful for the peanut butter, but I don't got a word else she's saying. You know what I mean? She smells good. I don't. So what I'm saying is, I just really wanted a place that people would come and have fun and hang out, and I didn't want to charge money. That's hard for people to understand. It wasn't hard for me to understand, guys. That's what you don't understand is the cool thing about when you buy something is they tell you how much you owe them. Okay. And is that every month? Okay. I'm not worried about it. And then if I got to go buy food to feed these people, the cool thing about that is they tell me what I owe them at the end of that purchase when I buy the food. I say, is that it? That's what I owe? I can feed a lot of people with this money. With this ingredients I just bought from you. And I only owe you that much? The part that people get stuck on is they think that because you're buying it for this business, that this business technically has to pay for it. That's not what happens when it matters. The point is, I will pay for it. If I can't pay for it by selling $3 tacos, which I probably can't, then I'll go work somewhere else at night. I'll make extra money. I'll work during the weekends. I work all the time I'm not here working. I will then go work to pay for this place to keep doing what it's doing. You can't take it from me because you can't. Because I'm paying. What day did you want that money? I'll be right there. Hold on. Can you take cash? Oh, you can't? You're a bank. Why not? You don't got any? I get it. You should have saved it. So, it's pretty fun. It's hard. I've been talking a lot. But I've been talking to a lot of people I haven't got to talk to for a long time, including you guys right now. So I do have some notes, so I'll give you a little bit because I know I went long and I talked about a lot of stuff, but I only went long because it took me freaking an hour to sit out here and set this machine up or whatever this thing's called. You get it. Thing. But it does feel good to be back in this shed. And I almost didn't do this. That's something I want to tell you. I almost didn't do this. I almost started doing this show from the taco shop. But my wife told me last night, she said, and it was something I was battling with. Like, should I? And she said, no, you do it. That's where that show belongs. That's you behind you. You're out there on your own, on your property. You walked out to that back 14th of an acre, and you walked a long way to get out there. So sit down out there in front of your artwork, in front of your children's artwork, in front of whoever gives you artwork, because that's all you've ever cared about, and talk. But be funny. So, I didn't know if I was going to do this, and she reminded me that this is where this show belongs. And I will be sharing it on OK Taco's show. It's free there. It's free here. It's free everywhere. It's free. If you want to buy drug, you still can do that through Diamond CBD. Just go to thewaterhead.com or oktacocompany.com or oktacoclub.com. Buy the CBD. I prefer the Delta 10 for whatever, the smoke stuff. And then for the gummy bear version, when I'm not taking Balance of Nature, one thing I'm doing is I'm taking Diamond CBDs. Sir. Ma'am. And that's for nighttime use. You take a gummy and you lay down and you turn on some music or you read a book or you think and turn on some mindless show. Turn on a little Ted Lasso if you want to, partner. I don't care. but you can kind of just chill and focus. But that morning, you wake up, you hit that frickin' peace pipe, and you get your ass to work, buddy. So that's what I've been doing. But I wrote you some notes, so I'm gonna kind of sit back. I do need to extend this microphone a little bit now that we can be funny and the real stuff's out of the way. That's why I was gone. I'm back. A lot of you already know that. I've been talking to you. So those of you who waited patiently that I love so much that have touched me over the years, not physically, even though a couple of you, Chris, I know we got something. I'd take a hug from you. No, I think in the words of Don Geronimo, no homo, but I would definitely get a hug from that brother. So and I expect to see him at a potluck very soon. But I got a lot of buddies that I haven't got to reach out to yet that I can tell what's going on because I built it now. I don't know if they believed me. I don't know if they believed in me. They haven't said a word since I left. Good or bad. Maybe they have. Doesn't matter. I'm about to tell them, hey, I built something. Now I need help. I needed help building it real bad. But you can't tell somebody how to help you if you don't know what the fuck you're doing. Excuse me. So, we're there now. I can tell people how to help me. They are. Tremendously. It's been a struggle because I had to be open about a lot of stuff that I'm not usually good at. I don't share it. So, I did. We are. And I am. So, let's open this book. We're going to open our readings of March 23rd, 2023. If you look in your little black book at home, I wrote Ed Sheeran down. You know, Ed. I wrote Ed Sheeran down because I just read a horrible story about this fella. You know him as the singer. I know him as the redhead. And he's got a beautiful voice, one of the best. Uh-oh. Siri's about to... No, don't do that. I'll play a little bit for you. This is a song I like about... I found a love for me. Darling, just dive right in. Follow my lead. It's a beautiful, beautiful song. It's about a girl, I guess, or a light. I don't know. Can't tell he's redheaded. I don't know if they even get girls. But Ed Sheeran was in the news, buddy. That's what I'm telling you right now, and I wrote it down right here in this book. I wrote Ed Sheeran, bro, we know. Okay, the reason I wrote that is I read an article on my Spaceship News Network where apparently Mr. Ed he's finally being open about his eating disorder. Guys, he's been kind of going through it with that, all right? So he shared that like he's not going to be ashamed about it no more. You know, he did what a buddy of his, Elton John, used to do. I've read to you a lot about Elton John in a different book by Elton John. But Elton John, apparently, Ed Sheeran told me this today in this article, that Elton John was a binge-purger. Okay? Binge-purger. Binge-purger used to play middle linebacker for Alcorn State. Binge-purger could jump 200 feet in the air. Binge-purger ate 1,700 yogurt packets and then ran a marathon. That binge-purger. That's the monster that Mr. Ed Sheeran is facing, and also our buddy Rocket Man was facing, okay? So what happens is with a binge-purger is you eat a bunch of food. So say you go to, I don't know, let's say Golden Corral, just to keep it real and keep it local. You go to Golden Corral and you say, that looks good, so you eat it. And you say that to every item at Golden Corral. A lot of them weren't good. Surprise, none of them were. But when you get done, you feel so guilty about yourself, and you realize that you're overweight and fat, that you sneak off to a corner or a bathroom or a ditch, and you throw up. You put your finger down your throat, and you puke it all out as much as you can, because you don't want to be fat, especially fat, off the crap you just ate. That was not good. Why am I going to let that affect me anymore? You let it out. That's binge purging. Guys, it's okay. Just eat better food, Ed. And by the way, brush your teeth after that. That's a problem, bucko. Take it from someone who might know. You can't walk around with vomit breath, buddy. You know what it smells like? Vomit. A lot of people don't know that. But if you're a bingy purger, your breath don't smell like barbecue because you ate a barbecue buffet. Your breath smells like vomit because you purged. Purge alarm. So, yeah, I like his song Perfect. I'd never heard it before. I Googled his music after, actually, I went on Apple Music and found it after I read the article to be like, has this dog even been, barking lately? I don't know. And I heard that song. The song was titled Perfect, and beautiful voice on that fella. I mean, just, you could even say, I think it might even be a little bit better than Elton John, in my own opinion. And I'm not saying that to, like, dog, I'm not trying to make a competition out of the two. Those are two songbirds out there singing. So, it's fine. But it was weird because I got stuck in the loop of the Rocket News, and so I moved down the list. Boom, Ed Sheeran, I got you, dog. You binging, purging? Cut it out. Eat better food. You won't want to throw it up. Just eat less of it, fatso. That's easy. Nick Lachey. Nick Lachey's got some hot water, but don't worry, it's not too hot. It's only 98 degrees. Take that joke. Steal it if you want it, guys. It's right there, but I got more coming. So yeah, Nick Lachey's in the news, guys. He got paparazzi'd. Yep, he was out at a restaurant in L.A., guys. He went there. He wasn't going to throw this meal up. I'll tell you that right now. He was going to enjoy it. He went with his wife and a buddy. And they went in there, and I don't know what they ordered. I like to imagine my early 2000 boy band lead eating something like, being like that weirdo. It's like, I'm just going to order from the appetizer menu today. And all of his wife's dressed up, and she's like, I thought we were going to come here and have scotch and a filet, just a filet and no greens. And he's like, no, I think I'm going to get these jalapeno poppers, and let's just get the whole basket, the calamaris in there. That's good. I like it. And she's like, Nick, stop it, You said you're going to come here and talk to this guy about maybe investing in my new shoe sticker line. And he's like, yeah, I know, but I just want to eat some jalapeno popper. Nick Lachey's too cool for that, is what I'm saying. He's 98 degrees. That's how cool he is, fella. That's lukewarm. Quarterback, Nebraska, lukewarm. You've heard of him. He's 98 degrees. Lick your arm. That's what Nick Lachey is, buddy. It's right there. He's you. And so, if your arm falls asleep, you just lick it. That's a secret. I've told some people. They don't believe me. It's gross, they say. But it stimulates the nerves. And it's just something I used to do that I thought was weird. So back when I'd sit on the toilet too long, when I was younger and more flexible, I would sit on the toilet for a very long time, concentrating, not on toilet work, but on whatever I was concentrating on. And oftentimes I'd look up and it might be an hour or 3 hours or 5 hours later, and I'd just been sitting there thinking. And what would happen is I go, uh-oh, it's been 4 hours. Like somebody might think I'm dead in here. And I'd stand up. I'd grab, because when this was happening, I was down in the basement at my mom and dad's house. I would grab for the towel rack, because the toilet was on the wall and the vanity was next to the toilet. So I grabbed for the towel rack to kind of help myself get pulled up. And I would stand up and my legs would just completely fade because they were dead asleep. And then the pain of a 2-hour toilet set, I would start like, what do I do to stimulate my legs? They hurt. And so when I was flexible, I could just be like, maybe I could lick them. And I would just lay in the bathroom licking my knees and shit. So it's kind of weird. It worked, but I think what it was the stretching the foot to the face that causes circulation, not the actual licking. But once your foot's in your face, you might as well take a bite, is what I'm saying. So that happened. Anyways, Nick Lachey was enjoying this meal of appetizers. Sorry, I got off track. A tangent. He was enjoying this meal of appetizers with his beautiful, I'm sure, wife. I mean, he married this woman, I don't know how many times he's been married since Jessica Simpson, who went through her own thing, but I'm sure she's gorgeous, because Nick Lachey deserves a gorgeous woman. He's a handsome fella, and he seems to be judging by his music, which isn't for everybody's cup of tea, but seems to be a pretty decent man if those songs are true to him in any way. I don't know if he sang them for the good reasons or the wrong reasons. But here's the thing. When they were out doing it, meaning eating, the paparazzi was there. And the paparazzi is a great little Italian restaurant in Florence, but paparazzi in America is a bunch of snakes selling your life to others to read about, to try to emulate for money. So they take pictures of Nick Lachey and his wife, and you don't know what that conversation was. It may not have been about his wife's new shoe sticker thing. They might have wanted to meet this guy because this guy's wife just died. They might have wanted to meet this friend because this friend just lost a child. They might have wanted to meet this friend because of a reason that's real and doesn't have anything to do with me or you or anything else, meaning this shouldn't be documented. Please stop taking pictures of me as I'm trying to console my friend. And it makes people angry. And Nick Lachey got angry, and he walked up to this car because his wife said, go get him. And I don't know if you've ever been married, but when your wife tells you to go get him, you go get him. So Nick Lachey went to get him, and they rolled the window up because they're little creatures of, they make money by profiting off of enjoying somebody else's life and selling it to people with lesser lives. That's what the paparazzi does. So Nick Lachey walked up to this window, and they said, well, he was hitting on it pretty good. We almost thought the glass was going to break. I almost thought Yeah. Because why was he doing it, though? Because I was taking pictures of him. Yeah. To stop it. He didn't break the glass. It does take a tremendous amount of force to break a shatterproof glass. Trust me, I know. Ask Mark. The right Mark. There's lots of Marks out there. You got to find the right one. Mark it down. You'll figure it out. But I know how much it takes to go through that kind of glass. It wasn't much for me, but Nick Lachey's not me. And I might have just had just a little bit of that Bud Dry strength going on in me at that night. Too much. But that happened. And Nick Lachey was trying to protect his wife or his friend because they asked him to. And he walked off, and that person that was taking the photos rolled the window down to take more photos or video of him. And then all this gets taken to the police as if Nick Lachey did something wrong by reacting to something that's happening to him. And so somebody has to call the authorities to try to prosecute a man on defending the only thing that matters to him, his wife and his friend, against somebody that's doing something that's immoral and wrong by trying to document something that shouldn't be documented. And when Nick defends it, now he's going to court and he has to go to behavior therapy or whatever, anger management. I'm not angry if that person doesn't take the photo. Don't you get that? Well, yeah, but people are going to take photos of you. You're Nick Lachey. What the hell does that mean? I was in a band 20 years ago. Yeah, but you were in a popular band. So now we have all the rights to your life. Okay, Nick? I'm on Nick's side on this one, guys. Judgment's still out. Don't know the whole story. Just read a little bit of the article. But as I stand, I go binge purge. That's awesome. If you don't like it, throw it up, guys. That's a good thing. But don't do it all the time for the wrong reasons. And 2, Nick Lachey. I'm on your side, buddy. And luckily, that's all the news I had to read. Final story of tonight's chapter I don't have to read, but I did write it down. I can kind of show you. Oh, no, too glary. Oh, too hairy glary. Is this, buddy? As I was laying there reading the news about Nick Lachey and about Ed Sheeran. Sorry, my stuff's falling out of my little book here. A buddy of mine called named Skin Man. He doesn't call me very often, and so when he does call, and I am available in the sense of see that he called, just have my phone next to me, it's not dead or whatever, lost, broken, all the stuff my phone becomes. When he does call, I do answer. And so I answered, and I said, hey, buddy, what's going on? And he said I sent him something, and he was laughing about it. And I said, I didn't send you anything, but thank you. I hope, if my phone's automatically sending stuff to people, I hope that there's a lot of stuff on this phone. Send the right thing. So I sent him something from our trip a few years ago when we went to Lake Texoma to watch Joe Exotic be portrayed in the Netflix documentary Tiger King. And Zach and Chip, these are all guys from our previous show, Life. Casey, Zach, Chip, Eric, my whole family, which kind of caused some issues with certain show members, and Shannon. We're down there in Skin Man, of course. We all went down. I took my family for a reason. I hadn't seen them, and that's what these people don't understand. I literally hadn't seen them. So when I did this, I had to take them. I can't go take a week off after not seeing my family for a year, guys. So I'm bringing them, and that can make you guys feel like, well, I didn't see my family either. Yeah, you did. I was there. I watched you see them. You don't understand what I'm saying when I say I didn't see them. So I took them to this trip, though, and I shared it on Facebook because the memory just popped up today. I shared it, and I guess that share tagged Zach, who is Skin Man somehow, and pulled a video and privately messaged him this video of my son and my wife trying to destroy an anthill, or something. What happens when you stick a stick in an anthill? There was an experiment Jonah and my wife were having on this trip. I'd never even seen the video till Zach called tonight. And I am the one who shared it to him, and I didn't even share it to him. I just posted the memory like everybody does. You get a memory, if it's a good one, you share it to everybody or whatever. Facebook provides, guys, or whatever that is, Meta. I didn't do anything. I pressed share because it was like, that's funny. That's the weekend we did all the Joe Exotic recordings where we live taped the watching of Tiger King and riff tracked the entire series in one weekend. Is all the audio good? No. I didn't have much help setting it up. They were all too drunk. So was I. And we were pretty tired. So, anyway, Zach called, and he's just talking to me because we hadn't talked in a while. And he felt guilty for whatever reason for not being down to see the shop. And I hadn't even thought of that because the last person I ever worry about is Zach caring about me or caring about Shannon. Probably Shannon first, then me, or whatever. But we're pretty close, and he's helped me out a lot in different times when he can, if he's able. And I try to pay him, but I know that I push a lot, and the payment probably isn't worth the push when the jobs that he was helping me with, What are we doing today? Oh, Zach, grab this death machine weed eater I rigged up. It's got a blade on it and a string made out of aluminum. Be careful. It might fly off and cut your leg. It kind of hurts, but you really don't feel it because it's just such a shock. But anyways, we're going to weed eat. You see this fence? Yeah? You see that over there? Kind of? But no, behind that. Behind that house. A little bit further. That tree right there. That's kind of where the fence ends. But, that's halfway. And then it comes back around to here. We're going to clean this up today with that weed eater. So, grab, as much gas as you can carry and string and stuff, and I'll see you at lunch, buddy. And that's a lot. For me, it was a lot, but it was also and I've watched people come in for a day and then say, I'm not going to make it tomorrow. I got stuff going on. And, they look at where we're at. We made it this far. Again, the fence is over there. That's halfway. We made it this far. So they leave. And I pay them, appreciate the help. And I do. And I'm glad I could help them because they needed the money. I'm just glad I had something to do that it's not really hurting me. They're helping me, and I get to pay them. So I feel good about it, but I know it's a lot. And so they don't want to do that for the money. There's easier ways to make money. People have been telling me that my whole life. But it's really hard to tell somebody that doesn't care about money that there's easier ways to make it. Guys, I'm doing it the hard way, not to make money. I'm doing it the hard way to do it the hard way. Is there a harder way? I'd like to do that to prove I can do it. Tricky. So, he called me, told me about the video, and he just started sharing with me his stuff that he's got going on. And it was back to money. He's like, I literally don't have the money to get down there. That's tough to hear, man, because if I could just get you here, I'll pay you to be here. I want you to be here. I want you to see what we got going on, and I miss you a lot. And he's like, I know. And so we'll figure it out. We'll get him down. But what's so funny about this conversation is that at some point, we spoke about our day and our dinner because he was eating when he called me and he was having a dinner of olives and pickles and that's all he's got. We got to talking and I said, yeah, you won't believe my dinner. My son made me, or asked me, not made me. And I said if I was able, I would, and I was, to go to church with him. I haven't been to their church. I didn't even know what church they went to. It's Baptist, by the way, if you guys want to all, play the church bingo at home. But I run by this church quite a bit. I run to it a lot because it's got a beautiful steeple. I like to run towards it, even though it's away from where I live, a mile. It's up a hill, but I run towards it. And I like it, kind of, but I get kind of uncomfortable with the vehicles I see there, if that makes sense to you. So I prefer running to a couple of the other churches that I don't see those vehicles. The vehicles of excess, the vehicles of trying to fit in, the vehicles of not being yourself, the vehicles of this is what everybody drives, the vehicles of, that. The new ones that are overpriced, those ones. And so I don't believe in the church that much when that's happening because I can't. But anyways, I go to this church and I go there because Jonah asked me, and Jonah told me they're doing a taste of the world and all these people are bringing in different foods from all over the world. And I thought, well, that's cool. It's not really church. And great, because I don't know if I am ready for that again. But we walked around and it was fun. And I told Zach all about it because he's like, this is what I'm having for dinner. I said, you're not going to believe what I have for dinner because every other night, had he called me in the past 3 months, it would have been a burrito or nothing. But on this night, here's what I had. I had this from Haiti, and I had this from Guatemala, and I had this from Albania. I had this. I didn't even know I thought that was like the long form version of ABBA. You know what I mean? Like that's ABBA, and then opening is Albania. I didn't know there's a country. They got a flag and everything. Probably got a story too. I don't know it. But this is South Korean. This is Japan. Japanese. You're Japanese. Those guys are creeps with panties. So anyways, he called me, and then in the midst of all that joking and talking, I don't remember how we got into the forklift industry is what he talked about, which was if anybody ever leads off the next paragraph of their dialogue with, you know what's been going on in the forklift industry lately, partner? You better frickin' listen, because you don't know. And he told me about that, and I laughed, and then, so anyways, I said, yeah, it's just, we've just been going through a lot, dude. You're down in the ditch picking up people's trash, and that's your life, and that's part of it that people don't even know you're doing. And he goes, well, it's better than being run off into a ditch by somebody trying to hit you with their car. I said, that's happened to me, too, recently. And he doesn't know how much I've been running. So he didn't hear that part. But the next part, he's like, no, but that seriously happened to me by someone I cared about that I thought liked me, my friend. And I was like, oh, this is a real story, not a figurative story. It's like, yes, it really happened. Somebody tried to hit me with their car, and I was in a ditch hiding. And I said, okay, well, who? And then I knew it because I told you guys this already. If you go back in the archives of my show history, Zach Skinman Myers one time pulled me aside in the garage after a show and said, have I ever told you about Chuck Hickey? And the way he said it to me, because we were probably a little sauced. This is back in Heston, Mordor, as you guys know it. We were probably a little sauced, and I didn't know who Chuck Hickey was. But at the time I was watching My Name is Earl, so I imagined that guy who's went by John Hickey or whatever his name was. It's Hickey, though. So, if you've never watched My Name is Earl, or it's Earl Hickey, dumbass. I'm an idiot. By the way, I'm pretty dumb. So, his name's Earl Hickey. So he said my friend Chuck Hickey, and I laughed out loud in the garage, like a lot, because everything that he then followed was something that would be on Earl Hickey's list in the show My Name is Earl. But the ultimate one that I shared with everybody on the show the next week is Chuck Hickey used to beat Skin Man with a jump rope. Like, there's a 40-year-old man in a garage after doing a podcast that nobody's going to listen to, including him. He's not going to listen to it. He had fun hanging out. He's done, but he's not done talking to me yet. And we go out into the garage, and he goes, "Can I ever tell you a story about Chuck Hickey?" And I said, "Please continue. I have never heard that. Please continue." And so he told me about the times Chuck Hickey used to beat him with a jump rope, which is not funny, but it was hilarious. Because I'm picturing that Earl Hickey fella from that show beating my friend with a jump rope. And then I'm picturing the way that that guy has a list to apologize. But as I'm talking to Skin Man tonight, he tells me, I said it at this, we did the Jinx thing. You know what I mean? Jinx, you owe me a Coke kind of deal. I said, "Don't you dare tell me." And he goes, "It's Chuck Hickey." That's who tried to hit him with the car. I said, "You just made the list, big guy. You just made the book. You just made the book that I talk about on the show. You just made me stop looking for topics. You just helped me." Because if I hear the name Chuck Hickey, just like if I hear the name Chuck Norris, I'm going to talk about it. And Chuck Norris is from Oklahoma, and I learned that he has his hands on a Oklahoma Walk of Fame in front of a theater in Tulsa. And if you don't think that I'm going to pour some C-Force down those hands very soon and put my hands over them and frickin' Chuck Norris unite, you're damn wrong, buddy. That's what I'm doing, because I'm running it. And we got it going on. And I got the best team in the world because they were there the whole time. And I dragged them through hell with me. And we got there. Now I got to turn around and tell them all the hell they didn't have to see, and that sucks because I couldn't let them see it because we had to get here. And they don't ever get to see it, hopefully, because I hope they're happy where they're at. But if they want more, they're going to have to go through it on their own. That's kind of how it works. So, everything's great. Everybody's doing well. Everything's going to get better. I think that's a good thing to say. I'm working real hard. I'm tired. But I'm so energetic that it's hard to rest. But I am tired. I'm going to go in there and lay down next to one of those people who was listening and watching and thinking she's doing everything, but not. I had to block her from a lot of that stuff. She wasn't able because she had her own, because we had whatever. Doesn't matter. She's helping now. And she's a lot better than I am. Shannon's helping now. He's a lot better than I am. I just had to get the system. That's a lot because you have to do it all for a while and then pay for it with a different job because you can't make money while you're developing. That's the secret. I can't tell you guys anymore. You probably already turned it off, so it doesn't matter. I'm talking to myself again because I'm in the shed where nobody hears me. But I can't wait for you guys to come down and see me at OK Taco Company because I'd love to talk to you, and I got big projects, and I could use your help. But I'm not going to pay you on Saturdays. That's for free. That's the community's day, and hopefully someday that'll be every day. We'll see if we get there. I'm doing it a different way. I'm doing it the way that I think is the correct way, the way that I think the people that have helped me would support, the way that I've been talking about the whole time if you've been listening, the right way. It ain't about money, guys. We're going to make a lot of it because people are going to want this thing to work. We're going to put it in the right places. Back to these people that don't have anything, that live in your own town. They don't have to live in that town. Just people that need help. Locally. Your neighbor. The guy that you've never talked to. The guy that lives over there in Stroud. What's that guy up to? What do you got going on? I had a guy wearing a Hawaiian shirt that was just in Miami, Oklahoma the same day that he was in my taco truck. Or my taco shop. He come in there. Me and Shannon are working. Said, "Do you own it?" I said, "Me and my cousin do." "We're the owners." "Yeah." He said, "I love this place. I was in Miami earlier today." I said, "Oh, really? What were you doing there?" Not talking about insurance. I didn't ask him what kind, even though I was real curious. I said, "Oh yeah, I never been to Miami." And he told me that they don't call it Miami. They probably call it Miami or something like that, because that's what Oklahoma does, and they correct you when you say it correctly. That's what Oklahoma does. And I think, it opened him up a little bit. And then he told me that he used to work at this gas station that I now own with my cousin. And he worked there with his uncle. And when he worked there with his uncle squirted a bunch of grease on his pecker with a grease gun, because it was a fueling station back then with a full garage. And I don't know why a grown man in his 50s would ever tell two taco shop owners that his uncle squirted grease on his pecker and made him run down the street towards a bridge that's not there anymore, but it is on a mural. But that man told me that in a Hawaiian shirt after being in Miami, Oklahoma on the very same day. And Miami, Oklahoma is like 3 and 4 hours away. I told him I hadn't been to Miami, but I've been to Welch for a wedding, and it's a hell of a long drive, and I get it. So that's the kind of stuff that happens when you say, "What do you got going on today?" to just anybody. And I do that to a lot of people. And then I come on a show, and I tell you guys what I've been doing. Whether you've been listening or not, I don't know. Whether you think it's true or not, I don't know. I can't control that. I can control how good you listen. But I can't wait to tell you the next thing, because I got this stuff out. It took me a long time to be like, "Are you ready?" Because I didn't want to weird out anybody. And it might still. But everything's good. I got to go back to Kansas. It's mowing season, baby. And get some stuff done this weekend after the potluck on Saturday. And then I'll be back. And I'm going to try to do a little bit more of these, but I'm going to be back in my consistent. You're at least going to get the Connie G Show once a week. Not only here on the Connie G Show, but also OK Taco. Okay? Talk. Go. You get it. It was there the whole time. Slow down. All right, guys. With that being said, I love you. Thank you for your patience. I'm sorry that took so long. Uh-oh, I dropped a picture. This is the guy I was talking about, Mark Downs. He knows about window strength. So thank you. And I'll be back. We'll be back. I'll be in Davenport tomorrow from 11 a.m. Well, I'll be there. I'll be there for a while. So, I think I'm going to end it a different way. I don't remember. Like, be good to yourself and love yourself and be kind and be nice. All that stuff's great. I want you to do that if you can control it. Just be happy. That's number one. But also, go prove it, guys. If you got an idea, just go prove it. That's what I'll say to you. Get out there and prove it. So, thank you. Go prove it.